Okay, so now that we have grabbed the data and we have put it into an object and everything we have done, we have the data now, but now we want to display it on the UI. So we already know that the UI part is being handled by the weather details component. So the data had to be passed through the weather details component, then only it will be displayed on the UI. So for that we need to pass the data here, because you already know that all of the data is being displayed here, the icons and everything. So that needs to be passed here. So what we'll do is we'll pass the data to this weather details component. So there are many ways to do it, like passing data within components is a very important thing, and there are many ways to do it. We can use the context API, that is the use context hook, and we can use props, and there are many ways. So we'll be using props, that because that is the basic fundamental and that everyone needs to know if you're using React. Use context is also a very good thing, but that we'll learn later someday. So today we're gonna pass the props and the data will be passed to weather details component. Okay, so for passing the props we need to pass that we need to pass this temp info, right? Temp info is the thing which is holding all our data. So temp info will be passed here inside this. So we'll provide a curly braces. Let me just provide a comment here, so that will tell us that this is the weather details page. This is a comment. Okay, all right. So inside here we'll pass the temp info. So temp info is the thing which is responsible for storing all of this. This is the temp info, and this is the object. This is storing all of this, because here we have passed set temp info and we've passed all of this. All right. So set temp info will be passed as props to this component, which is the weather details component. So temp info will be passed as a prop. So we can write like this also: temp info is equal to temp info, like this. We can just pass something like this, but here we are just using the spread operator. So I want to explain you how to use the spread operator. Like this we can just write it like this. So no need another curly braces. So this is now passed as a props, like the temp info object is passed here, and now we can make use of it inside the weather details component. But now I'm going to teach you on one more thing, that is the spread operator. So what spread operator does is it spreads the value which is present inside an object. So like for example, temp info is an object, inside in that there are so many values. So if you provide spread operator to the like that object, so all of the values as it is will be received. So for that you will use three dots. Oh, what is that? Three dots and then temp info. All right, and this will be inside curly braces, because this is JavaScript JSX. All right, now this is passed as the props, and now we'll see the magic once we go to the weather details page. All right, now here what we need to do to grab that data. What is the thing which we need to do to grab that data inside our weather info page? So we need to receive that props that we have passed. So whatever the props we have passed, so we have to put it here inside this, and so here we'll write the name of all of this. Basically this temp, humidity, and this we can just copy it. I'll just copy it to save time. You can type it if you want some practice of something like that. So I'll just, now this is passed as props here. Now we want this data, so it's returning here. So inside the return we will not return. And here what we'll do is we'll define a variable that is const, and that is the weather state. So what is the weather state? So that we want to define here. Now I'll tell you why we are doing this and what is the use of that weather state, and set while, or set, what happened to my typing skills today, set weather state. All right, so this is use state, use state, and inside this, now I need to import this use state, otherwise it will throw me an error. So that is use state. Now this is imported. Next what we do is we want to just now check if this is showing or not. So for example, in the temperature here it was already hard coded. Now we'll write our data which we are grabbing from the API endpoint. So here we'll write temp. So let me first of all start off the server. Let me go to that directory that is, and all right, here we'll write npm start. So let it start, it will be starting, no problem with that. Till then we can just configure it. Okay, so here I provided temp and this is the weather condition. So what do we provide inside the weather condition? That is the weather type. Here we'll provide weather type, right? Weather type. Next, this is the name of the city. This is Mumbai. Here we'll write the name, and that is the name of the city. And next, this is the country, so we'll provide a comma and then we'll write the country, and it should come by itself. And we have other things also. Here we have the time, so that is the sunset. So here we'll write sunset. Basically PM will be there because sunset happens in PM only. So here we'll write sunset. Next we have the, okay, our server is starting. Next we have the humidity. So for that we'll write this humidity, right? Next what we have pressure. So here we'll provide the values for pressure, and we have speed. Oh my god, there are so many things. Just see, so many things we are grabbing from this API. And now let me just save this and let us just go to the browser if we have anything here. Refresh this page, maybe we see an error. There are few errors. Let me just see what are those. It is showing objects are not valid as React child found object with keys. If you meant to render a collection of children, use array instead. Sometimes refreshing is a good option, but you have this. Okay, so let me just go ahead and look where this is coming from. So maybe we have done some mistake in code. Let me show you where. Okay, here's a mistake. So this we have just passed as variables. No, this is a object, so it will be in the curly braces. Now let me just hit save and let's go back to the browser. Okay, now we are seeing some of the things. Let me just refresh and let me just search for Mumbai. There are a few things, but they are not properly configured. So there is a temperature, so this is probably in Fahrenheit, this is not in degree Celsius, so we need to convert into degree Celsius. Next we have clouds in Mumbai. Okay, so we have the cloud icon, this is the name of the city. Maybe we can try to change this search. Okay, in Delhi it's haze. So what are the things which are not correct here? If you can just notice, what are the things? First of all, the icon is not changing, and secondly, the temperature is in Fahrenheit, not in degrees Celsius, so that we need to change. Next, the sunset time is in gibberish. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's in milliseconds or something like that. Humidity is perfect, pressure is perfect, and the speed is also perfect. So let's go to the code and let us change few of the things. So here, first of all, let me convert that. Let me convert the data. Let me convert the temperature to degrees Celsius. So for that, we need to provide this units is equal to metric. After the search value, we need to provide an unit search term. We need to provide and units is equal to metric. We save and go back to the browser. If it's changed, yeah, now it's 31.5 degrees Celsius. Okay, like it's changed to degrees Celsius from Fahrenheit. Okay, one problem resolved. Next, we go to this sunset time. So we have to configure this and we have to provide a proper time, not this gibberish time. So when we go back to the code, so what we'll do is we'll create here we'll create one variable, so that will store all of that. So that will be taking, no, not here. Why we are doing it here? Okay, I don't know why we did this here. We want to do it here. Okay, so here what we want to do is we want to create we'll write a comment, so that is converting the seconds in time. After that, we'll write that let second is equal to sunset. So this will grab the value for sunset. Okay, next we will create another variable, that is the date, because date is also there. So there we'll provide this new and date, and we'll multiply the second variable with 1000, so it gets converted into milliseconds. Once it's in millisecond, then it's quite easy for us. So let us create a final variable which will store all of that. So that will be time str. So this will we'll create template literals here, then the end, and inside this will be date dot get hours. So this will provide us the hours, for example 4 o'clock or something like that, and then we need to close it. Then we provide a colon, then we will take up the minutes. So for that we need to provide date dot minutes, then we'll close this, and let me just now save it. No, and now I want to use this time str instead of sunset. So here I'll write time str and I'll hit save. Okay, now when I go back to the browser and when I see, okay, we see a perfect time with sunset and the icon is also perfect. Okay, so second problem resolved. First one was the temperature, second one was this, the third one is the changing of the icon. So why the icon does not change according to the weather? Of course it will not, because we have not provided it any option. This is hard coded. So now we're gonna provide an option to create like we're gonna create a function to change this icon. Okay,